My wife Laura walked into my home office like she owned the place, which technically she did half of it. Her designer heels clicked against the hardwood floor with that particular rhythm that meant trouble was coming. "I'm going on a solo retreat to Napa," she announced, not looking up from her phone. "I need space from you, Jason." I leaned back in my desk chair, surrounded by my collection of old baseball trophies and project management certificates. The irony wasn't lost on me. A guy who spent his days coordinating construction crews couldn't seem to manage his own marriage. "Take all the space you need," I replied, keeping my voice level. Laura's perfectly manicured fingers tapped against her phone screen. She wore that black business suit that made her look like she could argue her way out of anything, which, as a lawyer, she usually could. "I've already booked everything. The vineyard, the spa treatments, the whole package. Don't wait up." She turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and Jason? Maybe use this time to think about what you really want from this marriage." The front door slammed 15 minutes later. I sat there staring at my computer screen, not really seeing the construction schedules displayed there. 22 years of marriage, and it had come to this, my wife taking a vacation from me. My phone buzzed. Monica, Laura's younger sister. "Jason? Why did Laura book a romantic couples package at Silverbrook Vineyard with Derek listed as her husband?" The words hit me like a sledgehammer to the chest. I gripped the phone tighter. "What are you talking about, Monica?" "I work for a travel agency, remember? I saw the booking confirmation in our system. Laura Hendricks and Derek Morrison, couples suite, all the romantic extras. She even requested champagne and rose petals." Derek Morrison, Laura's ex-boyfriend from law school. The same Derek who worked at her firm now, the one she'd been having late-night strategy sessions with for months. "Send me everything," I said. "Jason, I'm so sorry. I thought you should know." The confirmation email arrived 3 minutes later. There it was in black and white. My wife of 22 years had booked a romantic getaway with another man. Not just any man, but the smug, wealthy jerk who'd been circling our marriage like a vulture. I forwarded the email to Monica without a second thought. "Share this with whoever needs to see it," I typed. "Time for some transparency." Monica's response came immediately. "Already on it. This is going to spread like wildfire." Before we deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I leaned back in my chair and smiled for the first time in months. Laura wanted space? She was about to get more than she bargained for. Within an hour, my phone was buzzing with calls and texts from mutual friends. Laura's carefully constructed image was cracking, and I hadn't even left my office. The first phase of her public humiliation was already in motion. Laura's phone call came at 7 in the morning, 2 days into her Napa retreat. "Jason, what did you do?" Her voice carried that dangerous edge I'd learned to recognize over the years. "Good morning to you too, sweetheart. How's the wine country treating you?" "Don't play games with me. The vineyard staff keeps giving Derek and me strange looks. Someone told them we weren't really married." I took a sip of my coffee, savoring the moment. "Imagine that. Maybe they can smell deception." "You leaked our reservation details, didn't you?" I shared some interesting information with concerned family members. "Monica was worried about you." The silence stretched between us. When Laura spoke again, her lawyer voice was fully engaged, cold, calculated, dangerous. "You have no idea what you've started, Jason, but you're going to find out." The line went quiet. By noon, the first wave of Laura's retaliation hit. My phone exploded with notifications, angry comments on my social media, nasty reviews appearing on my company's website, and whispered rumors spreading through our social circle. Samantha, Laura's best friend and local social media influencer, led the charge. Her Instagram story painted me as a controlling, jealous husband who couldn't handle his wife's independence. The narrative was carefully crafted. I was the villain, Laura was the victim seeking space from an oppressive marriage. My daughter Emma called that evening, her voice cold and distant. "Dad, why are people saying you're stalking Mom online?" "That's not what happened, Em. Your mother. I don't want to hear it. Just leave her alone, okay?" Even my own daughter was turning against me. Laura's campaign was working perfectly. But she'd made one crucial mistake. She'd underestimated my patience and my network. Ricky, my best friend since high school, showed up at my door that night with a six-pack and a grim expression. "We need to talk," he said, settling into my kitchen. I did some digging on this Derek character. Ricky owned the most successful auto repair shop in town. People told him everything while waiting for their cars, including Derek's neighbors who'd been gossiping about his recent behavior. "Derek's been bragging to anyone who'll listen about his project," Ricky continued. "Apparently he's been working on Laura for months, convincing her that she deserves better than a blue-collar husband. What kind of project? The kind where he gets the successful lawyer wife and the comfortable lifestyle that comes with her. Word is, they've been planning this for a while. The separation, the divorce, the whole thing. I set down my drink, processing this information. It wasn't just an affair, it was a calculated takeover of my life. There's more, Ricky said. Derek's been telling people he's going to get you fired from your job. Something about Laura having connections with your company's legal department. That's when I realized Laura hadn't just declared war on our marriage. She'd declared war on my entire existence. Time to show her what a real war looked like. The next morning, I walked into Murphy's bar, the local hangout where half the town gathered after work. Laura's friends had apparently decided to stage an intervention because they were waiting for me like a pack of wolves. Samantha led the group, her phone already recording as I approached their table. "Jason, we need to talk," she announced loudly, making sure everyone in the bar could hear. "Your behavior toward Laura is completely unacceptable." I ordered a drink and turned to face them, noting how the entire bar had gone quiet. Perfect. "Ladies, I appreciate your concern for my wife's well-being. It's touching, really." "This isn't a joke," snapped Jennifer, another lawyer from Laura's firm. Harassing Laura at the vineyard was crossing a line. I raised my glass in a mock toast. Here's to Laura's romantic getaway with her ex-boyfriend. May their love be as genuine as her marriage vows. The silence in the bar was deafening. Samantha's phone captured every word. "And here's to Derek Morrison," I continued, "a man so secure in his masculinity that he has to steal another man's wife instead of finding his own." Several people in the bar started chuckling. The narrative was shifting. Jennifer stood up, her face flushed. "You're humiliating yourself, Jason." "No, Jennifer, I'm telling the truth. There's a difference." By the time I left Murphy's, the video was already circulating online, but not with the spin Laura's friends had intended. The comments were brutal, and they weren't directed at me. The next morning, Ricky called with news that changed everything. "I found something big," he said. "Remember Monica works in travel? Well, she's been digging through records. This isn't Derek's first rodeo. He's done this before. Twice." "What do you mean?" "I mean he has a pattern. Wealthy, successful women going through rough patches in their marriages. He moves in, plays the supportive friend, then gradually replaces the husband. Monica found evidence of 2 previous relationships that followed the exact same pattern. This was the ammunition I needed. Derek wasn't just stealing my wife. He was a professional home wrecker." "There's more," Ricky continued. "Monica also discovered something interesting about Laura's finances. She's been moving money around, setting up accounts Derek has access to. They're not just planning to replace you, they're planning to take everything." That afternoon, I drove to Derek's upscale condo complex. His precious vintage Mustang sat in the parking lot like a monument to his arrogance. I didn't touch the car. That would be too obvious. Instead, I waited until his weekly condo association meeting, when I knew he'd be showing off for his neighbors. Using the building's guest Wi-Fi and some basic social engineering, I accessed Derek's smart TV during his cocktail party. The screen suddenly displayed a slideshow of text messages between him and Laura, screenshots Monica had obtained through Laura's shared cloud account. The messages were damning, not just evidence of the affair, but detailed plans to destroy my reputation, get me fired, and divide our assets. Derek's neighbors got to read every word, including his particularly crude comments about my appearance and intelligence. The party ended abruptly. Derek's humiliation was complete, but mine was just getting started. The next day, Monica called with the most devastating news yet. "Jason, I found something else. Laura's been stealing from the family trust, the one our grandmother left us. She's been siphoning money for months, probably to fund her new life with Derek." "Can you prove it?" "I have bank records, forged signatures, everything. She's not just cheating on you, she's been committing fraud." The web was tightening around Laura and Derek, but they didn't know it yet. They thought they were winning. They had no idea how badly they'd underestimated me. The phone call from Laura's boss came on a Wednesday morning while I was reviewing construction blueprints. "Jason, this is Patricia Williams from Morrison, Blake & Associates. I need to speak with you about some serious allegations." Morrison, Blake & Associates, Laura's law firm. This was unexpected. "What kind of allegations, Patricia?" "Someone has provided us with evidence suggesting Laura has been involved in financial irregularities and unprofessional conduct with a colleague. I can't discuss details, but she's been suspended pending a full investigation." After I hung up, Monica called immediately. "Did you hear from Laura's firm?" "Just got off the phone with her boss. How did they get the evidence so fast?" Monica's laugh was bitter. "Because I sent it to them yesterday. Bank records, the trust fund theft, Screenshots of her planning to use firm resources against you. Everything. Monica, you could get in trouble for this. Let me worry about that. Laura crossed a line when she started stealing from our family. This isn't just about your marriage anymore. That afternoon brought another surprise. Samantha, Laura's supposed best friend, showed up at my door looking nervous and guilty. "We need to talk," she said, glancing around like she expected someone to be watching. I led her into my kitchen, curious about this unexpected visit. "I need to tell you something about Laura and Derek," she began, then stopped, struggling with the words. "Take your time." "I've been feeding you information through Monica," she blurted out. "The bank records, some of the screenshots, details about their plans. It was me." I stared at her, processing this revelation. "You've been working against your best friend?" "Laura isn't my friend. She hasn't been for years." Samantha's voice turned bitter. 3 years ago, I was going through a rough divorce. Laura was supposed to represent me, but she made a deal with my ex-husband's lawyer instead. I lost custody of my kids because of her betrayal. "So this is revenge?" "This is justice, and there's something else you need to know." Samantha pulled out her phone. "Derek and I have been sleeping together for months. Laura doesn't know." The room spun around me. "What?" "Derek's playing her just like he played his previous targets. I have recordings of him bragging about how easy it was to manipulate her, how he's going to take her money and move on to the next mark." She showed me the recordings, Derek's voice clearly describing Laura as desperate and gullible, laughing about how she believed his act of being genuinely interested in her. "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because tomorrow night is the school board meeting. Laura's planning to attend. It's her last chance to salvage her reputation in this town. I thought you should know." The school board meeting. A public forum where half the town would be present, including all the parents from Emma's school. It was perfect. "Samantha, I need you to do one more thing for me." "What?" "Bring Derek to that meeting. Tell him Laura wants to make a public statement about their relationship. Clear the air. Make him think it's his chance to play the hero." She smiled for the first time since arriving. "Consider it done." After she left, I called Ricky. "Tomorrow night we finish this," I told him. "What do you need me to do?" "Just be there with a camera, and maybe bring some popcorn. This is going to be quite a show." The stage was set. Laura and Derek thought they were attending a quiet school board meeting where Laura could rehabilitate her image. Instead, they were walking into the final act of their public destruction. I spent that evening preparing my presentation, organizing all the evidence Monica and Samantha had provided. Bank records, text messages, recordings, witness statements, everything needed to expose the complete truth. Laura wanted to clear the air. Tomorrow night, the air was going to be crystal clear. The Barton Falls Elementary School auditorium was packed that Thursday evening. The school board meeting had drawn an unusually large crowd. Word had gotten around that something interesting might happen. Laura arrived first, dressed in her most professional suit, clearly intending to project competence and respectability. She took a seat in the front row, checking her phone nervously. Derek entered 10 minutes later, looking confused. Samantha had obviously told him something different than what he was expecting. He spotted Laura and sat beside her, whispering urgently. I waited in the back of the auditorium with Ricky and Monica, watching the crowd settle in. Parents, teachers, local business owners, half the town was represented in that room. "You sure about this?" Ricky asked. "Absolutely." When the school board opened the floor for public comments, I stood up. "I'd like to address the community about a matter of public interest," I announced, walking toward the front of the room. Laura's head snapped around. Her face went pale when she saw me approaching the microphone. "Many of you know me. Jason Hendricks, project manager at Consolidated Construction, resident of this town for over 20 years. I adjusted the microphone, looking out at the packed auditorium. "I'm here tonight because I believe this community deserves to know the truth about some people who've been deceiving all of us." "Jason, don't do this," Laura hissed from her seat. I ignored her, continuing my address to the crowd. 3 weeks ago, my wife Laura announced she was taking a solo retreat to Napa Valley. What she didn't mention was that she'd booked a romantic couples package with her ex-boyfriend Derek Morrison, who works at her law firm. Murmurs rippled through the audience. Phone cameras started appearing. But that's just the beginning of the story. I pulled out a folder of documents. Over the past several months, Laura and Derek have been conducting an affair while planning to destroy my reputation, get me fired from my job, and steal money from her family's trust fund. "This is harassment." Derek stood up, his face flushed. "You can't prove any of this." "Actually, I can." I held up the folder. Bank records showing unauthorized transfers from a family trust. Text messages detailing plans to ruin my career. recordings of Derek describing Laura as desperate and gullible while bragging about manipulating her. The auditorium erupted in shocked whispers. Laura looked like she wanted to disappear through the floor. "There's more," I continued. "Derek Morrison has done this before. Twice. He targets successful women in troubled marriages, plays the supportive friend, then systematically destroys their relationships while positioning himself as the replacement." Samantha stood up from her seat in the middle of the auditorium. "I can confirm that," she announced loudly. "I've been sleeping with Derek for months. He's been playing Laura the entire time." The crowd gasped. Laura spun around to stare at Samantha, her mouth hanging open in shock. Derek tried to bolt for the exit, but the auditorium was too packed. He found himself trapped in a sea of disapproving faces and camera phones. "Derek also doesn't know that his employer received evidence of his misconduct yesterday," I added. "He was terminated this morning." That was news to Derek, whose face crumpled as he realized the full scope of his exposure. "And Laura," I turned to face my wife directly, "your law firm suspended you pending investigation into financial irregularities and professional misconduct. The State Bar Association will be receiving a full report." Laura finally found her voice. "Jason, please, we can work this out. Don't destroy everything." "I'm not destroying anything, Laura. I'm revealing what you already destroyed." The school board president tried to restore order, but the crowd was too engaged in the drama unfolding before them. Parents were taking pictures, teenagers were live streaming, and the local newspaper reporter was scribbling furiously. Derek made another attempt to leave, pushing through the crowd toward a side exit. I followed him, along with half the auditorium. In the parking lot, Derek spun around to face me. "You think you've won something?" he snarled. "You're still just a pathetic construction worker who couldn't keep his wife happy." "And you're a professional con artist who got outplayed by a construction worker," I replied calmly. Derek lunged toward me, but Ricky stepped between us. "I wouldn't," Ricky said quietly. "Not with all these cameras rolling." Derek looked around, realizing that dozens of people were recording the confrontation. His shoulders sagged as the fight went out of him. "This isn't over," he muttered. "Yes, it is," I said. "Your reputation is finished in this town. Your job is gone. Your con game is exposed. Laura knows you've been cheating on her with her best friend. What exactly do you think you're going to do for an encore?" Derek walked away without another word, leaving behind his dignity and any hope of salvaging his schemes. Laura emerged from the school building, looking lost and defeated. The crowd had dispersed, but the damage was complete. By morning, everyone in town would know the full story. "Jason," she approached me hesitantly, "what happens now?" "Now you face the consequences of your choices," I replied. "The divorce papers will be filed Monday. The evidence of your trust fund theft goes to the district attorney Tuesday. After that, you're on your own." "What about Emma? What about our family?" "You should have thought about that before you decided to destroy it." I walked away, leaving Laura standing alone in the parking lot under the harsh glow of the security lights. Ricky caught up with me at my truck. "Feel better?" he asked. I looked back at the school building, then at Laura's solitary figure in the distance. "They wanted me to play the villain," I said, starting the engine. I played it better than they ever played the victim. As we drove away, I could see Laura in my rearview mirror, still standing there alone, finally understanding the true cost of her betrayal. The game was over. Justice was served. And for the first time in months, I felt like myself again.